I want to talk about universal laws. So I know many of you are in orientation and you figured out what you want in the next 12 weeks from this course, why you're here, therefore, to get what you want. And so this will be in context of that. So universal law is saying that there's order, that there's an order to the way that the universe works. That it's not random. And this is really important, that it's not random and it's not all chaos. And you can apply this to your life, and you can apply this to your goals and to who you are. It's not random. Even what you want next in your life, it's not random. That there's order. And so the more we study universal laws, the more order we can create in our lives. So I love how Jordan Peterson describes this. He basically says, like, here's the universe of you. I'm just drawing it as a circle. And whatever you're experiencing is the amount of chaos, which is part of like the universal energy that's always available. And you've brought that chaos into order. And whatever degree of health, whatever degree of success in different areas of your life and relationship and career, in child rearing, like however you want to parse it out, is a reflection of how much you've used the raw material of energy. So chaos, and we're going to say this is infinite raw energy, because the universe is infinitely expanding. It's expanding faster than we thought. That's how much you've brought under order. So whatever amount of energy we've brought into order, the universal law says that then generates harmony, which is such a great word, because harmony, to me, harmony gives rise to the opposites, right? It's not melody. So melody is enhanced by harmony. So there's a naturally within that a principle of the opposites. And I'm drawing that as the yin yang sign, that there's naturally something else that starts to happen. In yoga, we might say that that's part of that is the law of pulsation, or the law of the opposites. Law of pulsation, or laws of so pulsation, this is spanda in spandex, like spandex in English. Spanda is the Sanskrit word for the pulsating nature of organized energy. Why is it organized? Because it's under order. So that's another word I'm going to add to the order part. Is there something that we're falling in line with a greater organization? That organization allows a greater pulsation or a movement of energy that's more organized. Again, we can apply this to health. We can apply this to wealth. We can apply this to whatever. So with harmony comes beauty. Beauty is then engendered. Like, I mean, this is kind of a fascinating conversation when you get into, is pure chaos beautiful, right? Or does it take a vision? Does it take a creative spark to organize that energy? And within that organization, a harmony occurs that then creates the beauty. It's interesting to think of. It's interesting to really see, and to even see in nature. Beauty then increases happiness. I've lived in places where communism's been strong, and beauty really wasn't a prized attribute in those societies, whether it's China or Eastern Europe, in these places where they don't have beauty inherent in design, where it was just totally based on efficiencies. Like something is lost. When you're in a place that's highly industrialized, there can often be a sense of like, it's functional, but it's not beautiful. And because it's not beautiful, it doesn't spark happiness. So if this is a universal law, that these things happen, that this is the step down, order creates harmony, harmony creates beauty, and beauty engenders happiness. What it shows me is like how much attention then are we paying to order? Like, how much attention should we be paying to order? If we know that energy is infinite, we can bring as much order to our lives as we want, because the input is infinite. There's more universal energy than you can use in your own lifetime. There's more energy in the universe available to you than you can possibly bring into order, so that these things are infinite. So then the question is like, how much order do we want to create? If order creates harmony, again, harmony in our case is also health. This is a harmonized body, mind, spirit. So in Body Thrive, we focus more on health. So how much health do we want to experience? A byproduct of that then is beauty, and then of all of that is happiness. So then what we look to, if we start with order again and we apply it to, if there is an order to having a body, if there is an order to having a mind, if there's an order to having a spirit, there's an order to being you, and that you are greatly influenced, here you are, and you're greatly influenced by the planet, the ecosystem, and the planet happens to be orbiting around, oops, let me draw it. We'll be orbiting around the sun. So this is my little sun over here. So part of the order, you don't, and this is the thing about universal laws, is like, you don't get to choose. Like, you don't get to choose the law of gravity. You can't be like, I'm not going to deal with gravity today. Like, gravity will deal with you. Right? So there's no choice with universal law. It just is. It's more of a sense of like, how much can you align to the order that already exists? So if we look at, here you are on planet Earth, that there's a rhythm that happens. Now we're back into harmony. If we line up with the rhythm that's already there, there's a rhythm to how the Earth turns, right? It's on an axis. And this gives us daylight and nighttime ratios. There's seasons, which happen to how we're moving around the sun. It looks like in this case, we're moving to the sun. Let me just adjust so that we get that we're orbiting around the sun. That all of this is a reflection of what is. It's an order that then engenders harmony, right? That all of this creates a rhythm. Rhythm is harmonic. So then the question is, the more you line up with the order, the more you line up, you get to experience harmony. The more harmony, you get to experience beauty and happiness. Pretty good deal. So what we're saying then is, within this order, there's clearly circadian rhythm. Like, this is the biggest measurement, is this circadian rhythm, which is how the daylight and nighttime ratios work, and the seasonal rhythm that's created. The more we line up with that, the more harmony there is in our life. The more we don't, the more aharmonic life becomes, which then, if we just follow this backwards, because that's also true, the less happiness we experience, the less beauty we experience, because we're experiencing less harmony. And the more we actually experience life as chaos, the more we feel like random things happen. So what I love, when I really fell in love with Ayurveda, it was because of being able to say, okay, this is the effect. So whatever I'm experiencing today, is an effect. What was the preceding cause? And then what was and this kind of keeps going. What was the preceding effect of that? And what was the preceding cause? Because if we assume that this is true, right? If like this is our experience, just like gravity's our experience, that the circadian rhythm sets the harmony, that is the order. And if we've been living out of sync or not aligned to that, then we can look at, we probably have deleterious effects. Less beauty, less happiness. So what that enables us to do is then if we can own this, if we can take ownership of this and say there's a law at play. There's universal laws at play with this relationship between cause and effect. If here I am today, all I need to do is look backwards. So the last phase before then, and what was happening before then, and then what was happening before then, is what we can say is like, okay, now I can see the pattern. What is the pattern that is generating the effect? And if I want a different effect, now I'm in ownership. I'm in the driver's seat. I can control where we go next. So what do I need to do next? And I'm going to create a new causation that will then have, hopefully, a better effect. So it's very much a taking responsibility over creating order. Like how much order you want to create in your life is really how much energy you want to organize. Remember how the energy then becomes organized, which means you get to experience deeper levels of harmony, which beget beauty, inner and outer, in your life, which beget happiness.